All right, Pepe, here we are. We actually entered this, kind of bullish pattern here, which Pepe was able to use for some pumps in the past. I'm not sure if I've got that chart here. I don't, but I showed you this in the previous video where Pepe is kind of, it's formed these patterns where it'll just kind of trend down and then break out higher, and we've done that a few times now. So we formed another one here, and the last time that we actually formed one of these patterns, Pepe managed to pump up by a beautiful 400%. So I can't even show you that on the chart. I'm not even going to bother giving you, potential target for that. But we have seen the beginning of that breakout. And to be honest, it's been a little bit lackluster. It's looking a little bit weak to me. And the reason it's looking weak is, where Pepe usually moves quite quickly, on this occasion here, it only went up by 34% within 17 hours. So, to me, this is actually looking a little bit more like some sort of sideways range now. And we're going to have that confirmed if Pepe manages to bounce off this level here. If Pepe falls back down here, and it definitely looks like it will, we're going to see if Pepe is actually in a sideways range if we do something a little bit like this. And if we do that, that would probably be a good sign. I think it would indicate more downside to come, but it would mean that Pepe is moving in some pretty nice ways, some good behavior, basically. I think that Pepe is going to have to wait a little bit more for the real volatility to come in from the weekdays, from S&P 500 waking up, gold, the dollar, and that could probably affect Bitcoin. And so I think Monday, tomorrow, we're going to see something bigger, for Pepe right here. But what we did get so far is, this line basically indicates the previous area of resistance we found, and that's where we've had this light bounce from. Previous areas of resistance do flip into support, but the problem is that we didn't really spend much time developing this area of resistance, so it's not actually like heavy resistance. And we know it's not heavy because the day we hit it was the same day that we actually broke out. It was only 10 hours later, and so that tells us a lot about how weak this area of resistance was. So naturally it must be weak support as well, and that's kind of my concern, is like if we do come back down here, that would probably just mean that we sweep the low, and we've got to find support. So the next area of support would be basically here. There are some wicks here, there was a little bit of support here, so this level does make sense if we're going to keep responding to not particularly powerful support areas. Then this would be the next one to pay attention to. It would be right here at 181. The previous one was at 231. This would be that next area of support, in my opinion, for Pepe. And then failing that, this is the big area that I want to see. I want to see 132. It's still a big drop from where we are right now, but it would be such a healthy retracement, and it would put Pepe back into a really, really healthy range. Now, look, it doesn't necessarily look like it wants to do that right now. It looks more like it just kind of wants to trade sideways, like I said. So that's cool too. Consolidation is good in an uptrend. So as long as we're getting some sort of consolidation, I'm okay with that. And if we take a look at some of our key indicators here, we still haven't actually developed them. Wow. 1 hour time frame, we have managed to find some relief in this green Ichimoku cloud. It's actually widening, surprisingly, but this should directly be able to offer some support to Pepe. The issue is it hasn't done so at this time. We've been trading in and around this cloud for an incredibly long period of time now, and we still haven't formed a big bounce up. So that's just going to be telling me that this cloud, unfortunately, isn't super relevant right now. We've tried and we haven't been able to use it. So I'm not going to give it much more credit. With such a volatile chart, I am willing to go deeper into the 30-minute time frame and analyze it this way. And if we do that, we do have resistance right here from the Ichimoku cloud. It's not the most reliable indicator when we go down to such small time frames, but it failed the support, and we do have resistance here. So I think that's just because it's this previous range, and these kind of areas with such an illiquid coin like this can prove to be problematic for Pepe, right? So, the obvious plays now, in my view, are going to be a short below this level. If Pepe falls below this level, a short down to this area of support here would be beautiful, and this is a big range, right? Like, I think just entering a little bit lower and then coming down here, that's a 19% drop. So I could comfortably trade that with a 5 times leverage, and that's still going to be completely completely okay. It would be a 19% drop from this level down to here roughly, and you know, with 5 times leverage, that is a 100% profit. It would mean I would double my money. So that's something I'd be interested in trading. And like I've told you guys before, BingX, they are running this promotion where if you deposit 10k, you get $500 of just straight trading ammunition for free. That is only limited to the first 50 people, but there's also this bonus of over $5,000. And again, what's cool about this platform is in addition to the stocks, forex, indices, commodities, you get all the same crypto pairs that you're used to. So you can still trade 𝗢𝗢𝗡 right here on this exchange. In fact, it's still a featured coin right here, showing you that it's super popular. And then we've got the rest of these markets as well, you know, which are super worth taking into account without KYC. Bybit's mandatory KYC goes into effect tomorrow. This is literally, today is your last day to take advantage of this stuff, and so if you do want to sign up to BingX and be prepared in advance, you want to have your account ready to go so that just in case if there is something, you don't want to be left out where you can't even trade because of some KYC mandates. That is a really good option to consider, and like I said, even if you don't care about the KYC, Bybit just doesn't have the same markets that BingX has. Bybit doesn't let you trade commodities, indices, forex, or stocks, right? Like actual stocks, by the way. You can trade fucking Tesla on this platform. It's crazy. You know, so if you want to trade all those other things, regardless of if you care about KYC, this is worth checking out. You can find it with the link right here in the description. But coming back to 𝗢𝗢𝗡 here, that short would be something that I would love to play. More than that though, it's the longs, right? It's the longs on this market that I'm interested in, and that's because I am going to be expecting these bounces, right? Even if it's a little bounce, I am going to be expecting bounces. So I don't know about like over here, but this is a really good area of support for 𝗢𝗢𝗡, like I've been saying in the recent videos. So this is an area that I'd love to see 𝗢𝗢𝗡 come back down to. The reason I don't know about here is because it's just not a strong area, right? Like we've just kind of found one very small rejection from high to low. The market fell down by 10%, 11%, you know, and we got a little bounce off here, like a 15% bounce, but there's not a whole lot more to this level. Now granted, the one thing that does make it a little bit stronger is that like previously this area just had 2 tests and that was it. That's all we used for support. This line here, we've got 1, 2, 3, and then 4 right here, right? So 4 kind of like interactions with this line. So I guess in that sense, right, I mean, like it produced smaller moves. You know, so there's 2 things that I take into account, among a few others that I take into account when I decide how strong is an area of support. Number 1, did it trigger a big reversal? So from here, from high to low, it was a 20% move. I mean, not massive, but definitely not tiny. You know, and number 2, did it produce a lot of reversals, right? So here it was only 2 reversals. Here it was 4, but each of these reversals were quite shallow. It's, you know, like we're kind of just grabbing at straws here, to be honest, but you know, you would probably expect some sort of bounce here. The reason I just wouldn't bet on it is because this area is so much bigger. This is, you know, 5 attempts at the resistance level. From high to low, it took the market down by 40%. It nearly halved. You know, so definitely caused big drops here in the market. You know, and this area also, the third thing that I'd consider is how long was this area acting as resistance for? And this was 3 days versus 11 hours, right? Versus 13 hours, 11 hours. So you know, when an area is a bit longer term, it becomes more compelling to fall down to as well. So I don't know if 𝗢𝗢𝗡 will actually fall down here, but if it does, it's such an obvious buy. The only thing that would be problematic is if it does come down here, this is a big percentage drop, so it's probably going to be a lot of panic. So for that reason, this whole range comes into play. If there's a lot of panic, the price maybe should fall down here, but it overshoots it due to all the panic, comes down here and then kind of stabilizes here and then maybe goes up. That's probably what I'd expect, right? Something that looks a little bit like this. Obviously this line would have to be moved because, you know, that wouldn't work, but you know, something a little bit like this, right? That's probably, you know, the extreme fear situation for 𝗢𝗢𝗡, which is entirely possible. But if it did happen, it would probably require the wider crypto market to pull back, right? And right now the wider crypto market isn't looking too bearish. The only thing that is concerning me is, yeah, I mean, there's a little bit too many longs in this market, so you know, that might have to get flushed out. You know, but that's something that I'm going to continue to keep an eye on with the main 𝗬𝗢𝗡 channel. If you are watching this on the main 𝗬𝗢𝗡 channel, as you know, just come to the top link in the description so you can get all this content on the daily channel. Most of my altcoin videos do not get published to the main channel, and the ones that do are published late. So if you want to get all the content, and by the way, it's still free, if you want to get all this content you know, right when it's actually published, hitting the subscribe button with the bell icon and so on. You can check out that top link in the description down there. You know, but that is something that I'm going to continue to look at. For now, it just looks like your classic kind of bubble pop, which is kind of funny. You know, there's a lot of different ways that 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗚 could take this right now. You know, like it could actually establish a floor here and then form some sort of a, you know, descending triangle that breaks down, right? So that would, you know, we'd get a resistance line that looks a little bit like this. We'd keep our support level here. We end up forming a descending triangle, right? That's definitely something that 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗚 could end up doing from here. You know, it's also trading in a bit of a kind of rising wedge pattern, so this could be ready to break down. Either way, it does look like it is gonna, you know, end up coming back down because it just didn't produce a big bounce off our support area, right? Like relative to what we've done previously, you know, we'd usually start moving up quite quickly, you know, by now, but we haven't quite been able to do that. We did kind of kick it off, but it just got sent back down. So yeah, I think, you know, I mean, it's a weekend, it's a Sunday, it's a bit of a slow day. It makes sense, you know, for 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗚 to just kind of fall back down here. To be honest, even this, as you know, a fairly high risk play, this is an area to consider going long off as well, just because we bounced off it before. Are we going to get a second bounce? Well, you know, we might get something, right? You know, I mean, one thing that I like about this chart is that we don't like wick out in crazy ways usually, right? Like, I mean, you know, we look at this resistance area here and we did wick above it, and it was by a bit, it was by like 6%, but it's just not the norm, right? Like other coins, they do this all the time, you know, like XRP, for example, super dangerous. You just get wicked out all the time. But a coin like 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗚, it does still behave a little bit, you know, it does still have some more organic price action. So, you know, that makes me a little bit more confident in seeking longs down here, for example, you know, at these pretty close levels. I wouldn't expect anything huge, but, you know, just like, you know, a little 7%, 10% move, that's enough. You know, if I'm trading this with a bit of leverage, I'd probably have my stop loss like, you know, 5% lower. I can comfortably use, you know, 5 times leverage, right? Move up 10%. I've opened with 5 times leverage. I make a 50% profit. I close and go home. That's it. You know, it's a nice simple little trade. And what I like about it is that big price moves are produced off these levels, right? Because 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗚 is so volatile. It actually, for like, you know, just responding to a support level itself can mean a 10% pump, and even that can be insignificant on this chart. And so when you've got a setup like this where there's just so much volatility, it actually makes it really easy to make money if you're positioned in the right place. Of course, the flip side is it makes it really easy to lose money as well. But if you're positioned in the right place, you know, this can definitely work out quite well. So I'm going to continue to watch this, and I'll give you updates on what I'm seeing on this market as we go along. If you have enjoyed this video, you know what to do, and definitely make sure that you have checked out BingX if you do want to trade this market without KYC. That is available for you with the link in the description down below right here. And if you're watching this on the main channel, then come over to this link in the description and check out all these videos where they are uploaded first. All right, guys, hope you have enjoyed this one. You know what to do if you have, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.